Hello, everybody. Welcome along to round 4 Premier League predictions. We are here on the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel and also on the Blue Monday channel with our Ipswich Town hats on as well. Mikey, we're back from the international break. Do you know what? I got 2 pastings last week. I got one from you and one from Sam Parkin as well. 3 correct results. I'll give you a grudging well done. Brentford 3, Southampton 1. Forest 1, Wolves 1, and I can't read my own writing. West Ham 1, Man City 3. Surely at least one of those is as a result of me going first and you having to pivot and me just forcing you into getting the correct score. But a 10-6 win, Mikey. What have you got to say?
Yeah, a 10-6 win. I'll take that. And as we always say, Ben, a blind squirrel finds a nut twice a day.
Can we do that as t-shirts or something? Does the Pope you know what in the woods? Can I just say the real quiz though, Mikey, even though you are last week's winner and you are now 2-1 up on the weekly scores, let me just read the total scores, Mr. Pentti-Smith. Mikey 23, Ben 27. And do you know what? I actually got 6 outcomes correct. You just completely bossed the scores, but don't hate the player. Hate the game. Get involved in the game. We'll put the games in the comments so you can just copy and paste them. Put your scores in. Give yourself 1 point if you get a correct outcome, home, away, or draw. If you want to do Mikey's thing and actually get the correct scoreline, which is the whole point in the exercise, give yourself 3 points for each one of those. And we love to give you a bonus point if your scoreline comes in and has 5 or more goals. Here we go, Mikey. Southampton versus Manchester United.
Yeah, Southampton versus Manchester United, to me, Ben, brings up memories of that famous Man United kit change at half-time, the grey kit, and then they switched to the blue and white one. They lost that game. I think Letizia definitely dinked Schmeichel at some point as well, but that might have been a different game. But yeah, that's what this fixture reminds me of. Southampton's second most passes in the league, Ben, but 0 points. But Manchester United might not be the worst opponent for them. They look so low on confidence against Liverpool. Will we see Casemiro this weekend? Will we see him again, Ben? That's the conundrum. Ugarte might make his debut. Manchester United fans will hope that he shores up that midfield. I'm going for a narrow Manchester United win here. And I'm going to go for Southampton to score, but it will be Southampton 1, Manchester United 2.
Yeah, that's a scribble for me. That was what I was going to go for. So I will pivot then. And I agree with everything. I'm going to pivot to the 3-1, Mikey. I don't really need to elaborate anymore. Southampton have form, and Russ Martin, particularly early in seasons, have form for, a little bit of teething problems, getting to the new league and the speed of it compared to how they want to play. Manchester United, since we've been doing this, Mikey, have form for not being really good, but having really good players and winning games like Southampton away by, maybe they'll even go behind. Maybe I'll say Southampton are going to take the lead, but there we go. I will go 3-1. And here comes a difficult thing because it's Brighton versus Ipswich. And I would love to have Ipswich Town getting a point here, but I don't think they're going to, Mikey. Brighton have been brilliant to start. Would they even go top of the league? They would, wouldn't they? Because they played before Man City and Liverpool. So it pains me.
They're all 3 o'clocks this time.
Oh, they're all 3 o'clocks. Okay.
Yeah, they could go top, but it's unlikely.
Well, I'm still going to have them going on to 10 points, Mikey. So apologies. I know we're down the Blue Monday feed as well. Should we have an Ipswich goal? Let's have an Ipswich goal. Brighton 3, Ipswich 1, Mikey. Give me some hope. Come on.
Okay, yeah, I'm going for 2-2, Ben. I'm going to this one. So obviously I'd be happy with a 4-goal thriller, Ipswich getting a point. It's been so far so good for Hertzer and Brighton, hasn't it? They weren't brilliant against Arsenal, but still managed to get the point, which would be pleasing for them. But I just think there's question marks over that defence, and I'm really enjoying Liam Delap up front for Ipswich. So I've got a scoring goals here, 2-2.
Please, in the comments, track Mikey's predictions for it. I reckon he's going to have us with about at least 65 points by the end of the season, which I'm absolutely here for. And how can we criticise him? He's still 2-1 up. So there you go. Crystal Palace versus Leicester.
Yeah, less than ideal start for Palace, really. They'll take positives from the the 1-1 draw against Chelsea. For Leicester, this fixture in recent times evokes memories of that Jamie Vardy Eagle celebration that he did in front of the home cell.
He's the worst, isn't he?
So he'd love to do that again, I'm sure. But Mateta's been rested over the international break. He wasn't called up by France, and he's sort of been catching up a little bit because he went to the Olympics. Leicester, no points deduction. That's the news from there since we last spoke. Huge relief for them. But I'm not going to have them having any points in this game. I'm going Crystal Palace 3, Leicester 1.
Don't talk to me about this blooming points deduction, Mikey. Yeah, I'm a Steve Cooper fanboy, aren't I? I think he can take something. I'm not finding a good place to play a 0-0 anywhere else. Are they going to shut Palace out? I'm going to go for the draw. I won't go 0-0. I'll go for a 1-1. And yeah, I'm joking. Leicester to pick up their 7th point since they last played. How about that? It's Fulham versus West Ham. Obviously, we saw Fulham playing Ipswich last week, Mikey. And I think they're a pretty good barometer for a middling Premier League team, which is a great compliment, by the way, Fulham fans. You'll know more about West Ham than me. But on the basis I liked what I saw of Fulham, and I want to believe that Ipswich drawing against them is a really good result. Let's have Fulham winning this one 2-1.
Okay, because I've got 2-1 as well. So this is one I'm going to have to change this one. I was quite impressed by Fulham at Ipswich. West Ham, difficult to judge. Nicholas Fulkrug hasn't scored yet, and I believe he's out for this game. I'm gonna take a couple of points off Fulham here. I'm going to go Fulham 1, West Ham 1.
Get right down the middle there, Mikey. And it is Liverpool, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, everything is neatly slotted into place for Liverpool so far, hasn't it? Winning with ease.
All right, Dad.
That's coming soon. And they've even been
able they're going to get even worse, yeah?
Yeah, they'll get worse. They've been able to take key players off late on in games and keep them fresh. And I think they've potentially got another couple of gears. Salah's absolutely on fire. It's been a solid start for Forest, though. They haven't lost yet. And there's been at least one England cap for Morgan Gibbs-White as well. So he'll be feeling 10 foot tall walking out onto the pitch at Anfield. And Chris Wood has scored 2 in his first 3 games. So I fancy Forest to breach Liverpool's defence. That hasn't happened yet this season. But I'm going to go for Liverpool 3, Forest 1.
Yeah, I agree with all of your rationale. Really like the look of Liverpool so far. It looks like Mikey and I are both having a bit of trouble with that massive glowing orb in the sky during this recording. So we'll try our best not to dazzle you. But apologies if you're watching on a big screen, which I know some people do. None of that distracts me from the fact that I've got to go for a Liverpool win. Forest have had a good start, though, haven't they? Maybe a bit of a regression to the mean coming. That starts at Anfield for me. You said 3-1, Mikey. I'll go for the same margin of victory. Now, haven't I gone 2-0 I'm going to do it again. Go on, then. Liverpool 2, Forest 0. I like a repeated pattern on these shows. And speaking of repeated patterns, here comes the Manchester City game, everybody. It's Man City versus Brentford. Didn't Brentford beat Man City?
They did, yeah, a couple of seasons ago, yeah.
But wasn't that all Ivan Toney-fied, though? And he's not going to be around anymore. That doesn't mean that Man City aren't going to win. Haaland will score between 5 and 7 goals during the game at some point. Time to try and call the bonus point up. Man City 4, Brentford 1.
You've taken my favourite Man City home scoreline. Yeah, it worked well for me when they were at home to Ipswich. I think because we expect them to score and they generally concede. Brentford won here before, as we mentioned, and Visser and Burmo, one of the best strike partnerships in the league at the moment. But Haaland's just too hot at the moment, isn't he? So am I going to go for 3-1 or 5-1? I'll go for 5-1, Ben. I'll go Man City 5, Brentford 1. Sorry, Brentford fans.
No, you don't need to apologise for anyone when they're facing Manchester City. I like the look of this one. Aston Villa versus Everton. We thought Everton had climbed out of their pit only to concede 3 goals right at the end of the game against Bournemouth, Mikey.
Yeah, I mean, to put it put it simply. They should have beaten Bournemouth. And I think it's up here now, isn't it? It's in the head for them. They're just struggling for confidence, even when they're playing well and in a good position. They can't get over the line. Villa, on the other hand, have just picked up where they left off last season. 2 wins from 3, and they were unlucky to lose against Arsenal as well, so they could potentially be on more points. No goals yet for Watkins. He was excused from England duty. Don't know if he's going to be fit, but Duran has already scored a couple of goals, so he might get the nod instead. This was 4-0 to Villa last season, Ben, and Everton.
Go on.
I mean, they weren't in great shape then either, but I'm not going to do it. I'm
Go
going to go.
on.
I'm going to be really boring and just go Villa 2, Everton 1.
Surely the lad Anana is nailed on to score in this one as well, isn't he? Having transferred in between the two clubs. Massively high on Villa. You know, I always am on these shows. Not very high on Everton. Let's go for Everton to batten down the hatches and just try to draw the game 0-0, but ultimately lose it 1-0. And I'll move us on to Bournemouth versus Chelsea. I wonder if I can do a bonus point on this one as well. It's going to be the other way around. I was just going to say 3-2 Bournemouth, and then I can imagine you flipping it. So I'm going to flip it for you. Bournemouth 2, Chelsea 3.
Doesn't look like you wanted to predict that one too much. I'm going Bournemouth 1, Chelsea 3.
There you go.
Cole Palmer's had a rest. Fully expect him to be okay to play against Bournemouth. One little nugget for you, Ben. Poor old Nicholas Jackson played for Senegal against Burundi in AFCON qualifying. He had 3 shots and scored 0 goal.
And who's
0
your
goal,
favourite?
he didn't score.
Who's your favourite Burundi player, Mikey?
That is a good question.
Definitely the left back, yeah?
Oh, no, the right back. It's all about the right back. But yeah, or maybe the goalkeeper, because Jackson couldn't score past them.
North London derby, Tottenham versus Arsenal.
Biggest of the London derbies, in my opinion, this one. It's been a frustrating start for Spurs. Wasteful, and dare I say a little bit unlucky in their 2 of their 3 games so far. I saw them beat Arsenal 3-0 at the Tottenham Stadium back in 2022. Awesome atmosphere that night. But they haven't beaten them since, in the 4 games since. Probably a good time to play Arsenal. Declan Rice is suspended, and Martin Ødegaard has potentially picked up an injury playing for Norway as well. So I'm going to go for a draw in this one, because I just think this is one that neither of them will want to lose. So I'm going Tottenham 1, Arsenal 1.
I've got to have Arsenal win in this one, Mikey. I'm super, super high on them. And they've already done the unthinkable and given up a little bit of ground with that draw against Brighton. So basically, Arsenal probably need to win their next 7 games in a row to still be in the title race when we come up to game number 10. So I'll go for them to start doing it. We like Ange, don't we? So we'll go both teams to score. Shall I go 3-1 or 2-1, Mikey? Let's go 2-1 to the Arsenal. Spurs 1, Arsenal 2. Wolves versus Newcastle. I think I'm going to back Newcastle for this one. Wolves in the bottom 3. And should we make this a completely partisan prediction? And let's make it all about my team, Ipswich, and hoping to suck as many people towards the bottom 3 as possible. So I'll do that with Wolves. And I seem to have already enraged all the Wolves fans anyway, so I may as well double down now and go for them to lose again. Wolves 0, Newcastle 2, a 0 logic prediction, and we love you, Wolves.
Yeah, we do. I'm also going for a Newcastle win here. I'm going 3-1. Newcastle have been a little bit lucky to have 7 points from their first 3 games. They've ridden their luck. Nick Pope has been fantastic since he's come back in. They're going to have Fabian Schär back for this game as well. Wolves not a happy camp, apparently struggling to sell tickets for games now, which is not good for them. Isak scored 3 across the 2 internationals for Sweden as well, so he's banging form now. So yeah, I'll fully expect Newcastle to win this one 3-1.
Get involved in the predictions. As I say, usual scoring, 1 point for an outcome, 3 points for a correct result. And if your result, by God, has 5 or more goals, then give yourself a bonus point and you can have a fantastic 4. They don't come around very often, so enjoy them while they're there. See you next week, Mikey.
Cheers.